Terry and Joe. Which, give me the call number of the example you're working on. Okay. What'd you find there, Terry?
We worked on that one together. We found that it was 1.56% in the labor for that job.
Okay.
And then we saw 16.76% of it with parts, and combined for 18.32% of labor and parts. Yeah, labor and parts together, labor and material together would have been, though we put together 18.32 with the total burden there just for labor and parts.
So tell me how you got to that number. How did you calculate the labor?
Say that one more time?
How did you calculate the labor? What were your numbers did you use?
We used,
The grand sales total, so $12,1497.
Okay.
You got that percent, you got each percentage through that number.
Okay.
right.
Yeah. So, thinking about that though, what's included in that sales total? When you see the 97 cents, that's included.
Oh, yeah, $14.97, our club membership.
Right. Okay. So what else? So we take the $14.97 off. Is that, do we get all that money in then? Is that the total revenue that we're gonna realize?
No, because we got finance charges on there, 2813.25, right? We gotta take that out of that equation too, so it puts us around right around $10,000, right?
Exactly. So tell you what, why don't you guys go ahead and recalculate that, thinking about those things. Okay?
Okay.
Did everybody get what was going on? Did everybody get what was going on there? All right? Who has another one that they can share? John, which one are you working on?
I have ticket 113-1320. Tech generator HVAC install. For this one, I got the labor rate of 4.9%, and then percent of parts, I got 34.7%.
Okay? So tell me your calculations with the labor, how'd you get there?
So for the labor, I took the, where'd the number go? I took, I think I messed up.
No worries.
So,
This is
yeah.
where we're supposed to do this, right? It's all
So
good.
what I wanted to do is take the labor cost and divide that by what the job cost to get the percentage.
Okay.
Hold on.
Job cost or the job sold?
Sold for,
Yeah.
excuse me.
So these terms are pretty important while John's working on this. To Matt's point, that's not the job cost. It may be the cost to the customer, right, the price that they pay. But what we really need to be thinking about here is the realized revenue. What actually comes into the office? What actually gets put into the bank from that job? Okay, before all those other things are taken out. John?
So I mean, it is 4.9%. I just used the wrong number.
So tell me your numbers that you used then.
So the sale was $11,500.
Okay.
I divided that by the labor, 21 hours, which was $568.58, which got me.
Okay? Was there anything else that you might have included in that? What else goes into labor? That's why we're doing this, man. All right, who wants to be my next victim? Let me volunteer. Who's up? Okay, Jose, which one are you looking at?
1133729.
Got it? Okay, what do you see there?
Parts and taxes equal to 178. Divide that by the. I'm sorry, the labor. Parts and labor. Are 664.91 cents.
Okay,
I divide that by the total sales, which comes out to 20.9.
okay,
And then with the labor, I add the burden. The burden added is 178, and my percentage on the labor with the burden is 5.6. Total is 26.5.
so 21% for the parts, 6% for the labor. You plumbing guys, what's our targets there? What's our goals? What should our parts be? What's our parts percentage supposed to be? 17% is our target for parts?
Okay.
Okay. So we're at 21. What could be the cause of that?
Most likely, part waste, or
Part waste.
picking it up from a supply house that we don't have negotiated prices with, so we're paying more than we should be for it.
What else? Chris mentioned it earlier, think ahead. Tasco wasn't put in, or they didn't include a Tasco, they did a task maybe?
Yeah, or did enter the parts that were used on the job.
Sure. So what about the labor? What's your target on labor?
Well, hold on, before you go on, it could also be the type of task, right? Is a water heater gonna have higher parts costs than, say, a copper elbow? It is, but is a copper elbow gonna have higher labor costs than a water heater, probably as a percentage of the sale? Yes.
So these are all important things to know in your specific department when you're looking at it job by job, because there is some of that variance. We have a similar dynamic that can happen in HVAC as well. So what about labor? What's your target there? What are we looking for?
Ideally, less than 20, less than 18.
But realistically, 25 cents.
Okay. So that was a big, that was a pretty big win on the labor then overall there, right? Right? Cool. All right. Who else? Who else has one to share?
There, myself.
Sure. Tell me your call number again. What's up?
The call number is 1131320.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, cool. What do you got now, John?
So for percent of labor rate, I included burden plus the labor, and that comes out to 6%.
Okay. What was your total number of labor costs? What was the total labor cost? The dollars. That don't work. If you don't have that, I might have to bring it up. What'd you get for parts then?
For parts, I had 34.7% parts, and that was the parts and equipment plus the tax divided by the sale.
Okay. So that's a tech gen HVAC install. What's our target for labor cost on those? What's our target for labor on install? What's that?
Less than nine.
Say it loud, say it proud, Dave.
Less than nine.
What were we at in January? 8.01, right?
8.01.
Yeah, exactly right. Hey, sorry. One gets you. So, right, so 9%, so 6%, we have a big win there, right? What's our materials target in HVAC? Yeah,
I mean, 20 or 20, 23.
yeah.
For
For
sure,
less
less
than-
than 25, not 35.
Certainly less than 25%, right? Yeah, absolutely. So not such a big win there.
No, you didn't do anything wrong. He's pointing out that the parts were high.
Yeah, just analyzing the job stuff. Yeah, no, you got it on the second try. All right, who else has one? Who else has an example to share? Come on now. Share. No, done.
I'll do it.
Call number?
I have call number 1123380. This is a marketed HVAC install.
Okay.
So, for labor rates, we have 14.51 hours plus burden is 505 or 506 and some change. Divide that by the sales, which is 6858. And I have 7.9% as the labor rate. And then for percent of parts, is 1449 for parts and equipment. Taxes, 119 divided by 6858 is 22.8%.
Okay. So of that 685,897, was that realized revenue? Was all of that realized? Did we get that deposited in our bank? Did we? We'll look at it.
Is there any financing here?
The answer's in front of you.
Yeah, there's mine.
That's not realized revenue, that's a cost. So that comes out before we calculate this. And there's something else that needs to come out of that one, just like we talked about in Tampa. What else needs to come off that number? Club cost. So if there's something after the decimal point, it's usually an indicator we need to look. There's normally not change on the sales. Every once in a while, some knucklehead makes 50 cents on the sales guy, but most of the time, if you see 97 or any kind of change there, it means there's club. So club needs to be taken out, finance needs to be taken out before we
Why
calculate.
don't we take the club off? We collect that revenue.
We do, but that's not part of that job. That shouldn't be assigned or calculated in the cost of this job or the gross margin of this specific job. Because it's kind of more,
It's a future cost.
I hesitate to use the word, but it's more indirect. It's separate from the job, so.
Well, it's paying for the club services, not for services that we render.
Yeah, so that feeds into the club revenue that Beth was talking about earlier. When you see that club revenue line on our, for HVAC, that's those monthly recurring costs. Cool. What else? Who else has one? Who else has an example? Get somebody on the, somebody have a,
I got one.
Ken.
So ticket number 113950.
okay?
We're buried in that one.
Tell me about it.
It's a negative profit for us. It's a tune-up.
Okay?
So gross profit is negative $70.01.
Okay?
It costs money to go out.
Does. So what could have been the difference maker there?
Probably finance from where they could do improvement to their house.
Sure.
Right, whatever, cover up finance.
So typically that starts with the tech offering it, and sometimes
Correct.
that doesn't happen. I think that's oftentimes the case here. So these are important ones to look at, these club ones. If we're paying somebody to go out and lose money for us, is that a good employee? Is that somebody who's adding to the good of the company? Not too much, right? Matt?
So I'd say there's two scenarios. One, you gotta look at it as, some of that revenue is being attributed every month, right? So it doesn't get on this direct job, but it's getting attributed to the HVAC department job. Correct? And two, these are an obligation, so there is gonna be some where there's a cost, but not revenue. The problem is when they're all the cost of the revenue, or like what Larissa had, which is, I think, 4 hours for it, $160 a cost or something like that, right?
So to Matt's point, that big number that you see on there, the club revenue that goes on to the HVAC side does help to offset some of those no-sale jobs, but it can only go so far. Eventually, something has to happen, right? Something has to turn. All right, who else? Who else has something to share? Anybody else? Two gentlemen, I promise. Anybody else?
Ticket number 1132962.
Okay.
So the sale was 5477 after financing. It's 92. Labor was 539.69, so that was 42.1%. I'm sorry, 10.6% labor. Parts and taxes was 2141.31, so that was 42.1% in parts. So initially I thought, parts was really, really high, but the math point maybe it's a margin or something. I'm not sure what the job is yet, but it's a plumbing job, but labor is still slightly high.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
Those are still really high. How much is the revenue now?
After financing, 5092.
Yeah, so I don't know what that job was, but that's still really high as a percentage. Even if it is a water meter. None of them are built that way.
Yes. Even water users max out like 5%.
Sewer labor, it says, 8.48 hours, other labor, 2.28, and then burden, which added up to 539.69.
Sewer and plumbing is the same cost of goods sold programs, they just say sewer.
So understanding the expected costs of the job when we're doing this kind of estimation is really important. When we talk about our targets and our goals, we're talking about that final number on the P&L. What do we want to end up at, right? Well, we know that some jobs are not going to be good, some are going to be off, some are going to be better than others. But it's important to know those sort of those standards or those benchmarks so that we know when it's time to dig in deeper and find out what's going on. If we start seeing a pattern of a specific technician constantly having very high parts costs or very high labor costs, it bears a deeper dive, right? But knowing the type of job that's happening and the cost of those parts, the expected parts of those costs, is really important to be able to evaluate that. And sometimes there's those little things that you just have to know. Similar to when they looked at the Tampa job down there and not including the piece rate that the lead installer has. When we look at this job costing for Tampa, it doesn't show us that. All we see is the hourly pay to the apprentice. So it could look like we're really fat and happy on that one. But in reality, there's a few $100 more that's coming off of it that pays the lead install. So all those little specifics along the way are very important for us to know so we can get an accurate gauge of this. All right, anybody else got one they want to share? Anything else burning up they want to let us speak? Nobody? All right, so I'm curious, show of hands, who's seen this form before on Antio? Who's seen this? Okay, a couple of you. So, what I'm going to do for you is show you where it's at. Now, your specific access code may not give you access to this yet. If it doesn't, see your manager and we'll make that happen for you. So, in commissionable jobs, we do have a commission payment stream that we can look at. Those of us who do the commission approvals. It's similar to this, and we can see it from that. And we'll look at twos. Okay. So from the main menu, going down to get to key indicator menu, and then in the individual departments. So in HVAC, it's gonna be right here. There's job costing, right in the key indicators, okay? For plumbing, I'm just new to that world, I just got access to that yesterday, but I believe it's always in sewers where we would do that. In the sewer key indicators.
It's in block now.
Oh, is it? I didn't see it there. Okay, cool. That's it. Under commissions?
No one would be indicated, no.
That's the guy.
You're at work.
It's under,
Oh, we key indicators?
hit that, and then hit that first one.
Yeah, see, I was right. But the sewer one works for both times too, right? Yeah,
If
so-
you don't, so the reason you can't use the commission one under plumbing is, for the plumbing managers is, it has to be one that has a commissioner person signed to it. So if you use job costs, you don't have to assign technician.
Cool. So everybody clear where those are at, where you can find that job cost? This is a great way to really give ourselves a shot at getting to where we want to be at the end of the month. When we stack up those wins, that means a win at the end of the month. All right. So, got your beautiful artwork up here. I love this. Gross margin, that's our focus this year. That's clearly our focus this year. Should be all of us, frankly. Labor is one of the biggest controllables for most of us in this room, the field managers. And everybody has a bonus potential based on gross margin. So we've all got a lot of skin in this game. We've all got a lot of skin in this game. And by watching these, tracking these closely, watching for those problem areas, watching for those red flags, we're gonna get to where we wanna be, we're gonna earn those bonuses. That's our goal. Because when we earn those bonuses, it means we've done the right thing, the company's healthy, and going in the right direction. So if you have any other questions about this, please reach out to someone. Ask somebody who might have more knowledge, go up to your manager, find out, find the answers to your questions on this. Don't leave any mysteries out there for yourselves. Being able to track these numbers and manage off these numbers are the key to your success and the company's success. Thank you all, I appreciate it.